Advice Hour with Tanya, media's #1 big sister.
Welcome, everyone. Right now we have Christy on the line who's calling about a very sensitive issue for which she feels a little self-conscious, but there's no reason to feel self-conscious, Christy. So you have me on the air. I'm at your disposal right now, so talk to me and tell me what's going on.
Okay, you know there are no accidents, right?
Right.
The craziest story. I just moved to an area that, like one of my first boyfriends in college 25 years ago lives.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, this guy popped in my head, and I contacted him on Twitter, and he lives about 1.5 miles from me.
Okay.
And we hooked up and we had dinner and everything. Well, his wife committed suicide about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was really an awkward situation, you know. He's got 3 children with her. But, you know, it was just like it was 25 years ago. I mean, he was the same, I was the same. I know there was a real attraction. And even after the dinner, we talked and we were on Twitter and everything. And then all of a sudden, I got this email that said, you know, I love my wife and I'm not over my wife and I need to focus on what I'm doing and blah, blah, blah. And so right now I've done the, you know, no contact thing. Like, okay, but I'm just weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. What do you think, Tanya?
What do I think about what?
The whole situation.
He said he's not over his wife. I'm confused. He said he's...
Because that's not the way that he acted.
Oh, you know what? Oh, honey, no, listen. No, honey. And all of the ladies out there, no. At the end of the day, okay. You see, okay, when you say that's not how he acted, what do you mean by that?
I mean, it was just, you know, we acted just the same. We were laughing and you know, we sang and we had a good time eating, and it was just talked on the phone, and he was texting me all the time, and then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you guys have intercourse?
No.
Yeah, I'm not getting the feeling that you all have intercourse, but let me just say this, you know, human beings, our most natural state is loving. You know, when children come into the world, children are really, really loving. And even when you punish children, even if you're mean to children, they'll come right back around to being in love, in that state of love. And so human beings are in our most natural state is a state of love. And so most people want to be happy. Most people want to be in that feeling of love and enjoyment and stuff that feels good. Right? It feels good. And so I'm so very certain that when he was with you, that he was in the moment and he was happy to be able to participate in that relationship and participate in the camaraderie and really open up a part of himself that he hasn't opened for quite some time. But there's a part of him that's not ready. And you have to remember, well, first of all, do you have children as well?
Yes. Now, his children are a lot younger than mine. He didn't have children until really late. So my son is grown. But he's got 2 twins that are 5 and a 10-year-old.
Okay. So as you can imagine, now let me just say this. For everyone inside the room, please do know and understand that for a man, relationship has relationship is different for a man than it is for a woman. You know, before a woman gets into a relationship, all she has to do is be ready to love. That's all she really has to do, is be ready to love. But before a man can get into a relationship, there are, because you know what, because what women bring into the relationship is the love and the nurturing and things that you already have, right? For men, there are a lot of other things that come along with the male and the masculine position that makes the investment into a relationship much larger than it is for women. So for a man, he has to... Did you turn on your computer? I hear an echo now.
No.
Really, I hear an echo all of a sudden. And Trina May says that you should believe him. There's not much more to read into when someone tells you that. Just accept his friendship, if possible, and move on. And so what I would add is that, you know, for a man, coming into a relationship takes more, because the mantle of manhood requires that man be in a position to be able to be provider, and the male essence and male nurturer of that relationship, and also be able to be in a position to be able to receive the full gifts that the woman has to give. Like, if a man is not in a position where he feels that he is ready to receive what it is that you have, the love that you have, the life that you have to offer, then he's going to be a lot more reluctant, because he's not ready to step up to that position of head of household. He's not ready to step up to that position of being the man of that relationship. So you have to remember that the investment for a man is much larger, just like the investment for producing children for a woman is much larger, because a woman has to carry the child for 9 months, and then she has to push the child out, and then she has to breastfeed the child, and then she has to, you know, do all of that. So the investment for producing children is a much greater investment for women than it is for men. So a man can go out there and just, you know, go squirt, 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 and then make a whole bunch of children. Just like a woman can be like, oh, I'm ready to have, you know, that man in my life. But if that person is not ready to be that man, then he's not ready to be in your life in that capacity, and therefore he will shy away from that. And so, you know, death is a really big thing when you lose your partner and then you have small children. So he has the responsibility of being the father to his 3 children. He is a 10-year-old
Right.
who in 3 years is going to be going through puberty, 5-year-olds who are very young and still miss their mama, you know, and then he has you to consider meshing into that family and then being the man that you need him to be, and he may just not be ready for that. He may just not be ready for that.
Yeah, you know what? It was just so weird that we were just, you know, it was just so cool. We talked all the time, and he would say always, we need to go do this, we need to go do that. I'm so glad you're here, right around the corner. And then all of a sudden, you know, I was like, oh man, I must have really freaked him out, or he's feeling guilty, or I don't know.
Honey, no. You know
Yeah,
what? Did you ever see my video, How to Get a Man to Fall in Love with You?
I've seen them all.
So you saw that video?
Yes.
So you know that it's quite typical before a man falls in love for him to...
Yeah.
Right, so you saw that, for him to separate, because a man needs his autonomousness. He needs to be free and separate. Now, based on my intuition, I don't feel that that's what this situation is at all. I don't think he needed the space to be able to, you know, fall deeper in love. I feel that this man was married for some time, and that he is, when you're married, your camaraderie button and your relationship button is all tuned and primed up. And when that person goes away, you still have habits of being a couple that are intrinsic in your normal day-to-day operandi. You know, so you have to remember that this man is probably or was probably acting off of reflex, because you know what, and this is why a lot of young ladies, this is why people love to date married men. They love dating married men because they're trained in such a way that they are very communicative, they're very open, they're very used to being in a couple, so the way that they behave is very coupley. So this man was probably just acting off of reflex. So, and I know you like him, but what can you do? He's not ready. And you know what, and go ahead.
Well, we were just pals, you know. We were pals there for about 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, it's like nothing.
Okay.
And I'm not, you know, that was the last email, and that's all I needed, and it was just weird how it went down. But I get it. I'm good.
Yeah, and you know what, and yeah, and that's fine. So you have to remember that part of loving yourself and part of being self-loving is positioning yourself in a situation in which what it is that you have to offer can be returned back to you. And this man can't return that right now. And you know what? When men say things like that, you really have to listen to them. They're not really teetering to trick you with their words versus their actions. I have found in my own personal experience that when a man says that he's not ready, that it really doesn't matter what his actions show, that you really have to listen to the fact that he said that he's not ready, because human beings naturally want to be loving. So you just have to pay attention to the fact that he said that he's not ready, and no matter what his actions say, he's not ready, and leave it at that.
Okay.
And there's some people in the room who are responding, and Trina May says he probably doesn't want to leave his wife and children. Well, Trina, his wife has passed away. She committed suicide, you said, right? So there's probably a lot of guilt associated with that as well. And Jamie says, I feel he probably is feeling guilty of moving on when his children are still missing their mother, especially since you mentioned she committed suicide. So yeah, so there could be a lot of different things going on, and I feel that the biggest impediment is, you know, him being a father, him just having come out of that relationship and really having a responsibility to his children. What I'm picking up on from my intuition is that this is really children-based, that this has a lot to do with what's happening in the relationship and who it is that he represents to his children. So that's what I'm picking up on from that situation.
I hear you. I agree with you 100%. And you just confirmed everything that I thought, but I thought I would lay my woes on you for a minute.
No, well, I really appreciate that.
I missed my friend, you know, and it was really cool reconnecting with him, and it was just sad.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he just couldn't be the man that you needed him to be. And you know what? If he was... there's something about the relationship. I'm sure he enjoyed you. But he just didn't feel that he could be there for you in the way that you needed him to be there for you. And so he probably didn't even think that being friends would be okay for both of your sakes. Maybe it would have been too much for him, or he knew that it would have been too much for you, or whatever it was, he just knew that wasn't the direction that he could go in. Okay, so Christy, thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. And I'm going to go read everything that they wrote.
Yeah, I see Jamie has written some more things. So thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, and I'm going to keep watching.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
So we just had Christy on the line, and so she had a rough situation dealing with a man who was showing all the right signs of wanting to be in a committed relationship, but then just backed out with no warning. And so, you know, unfortunately, it's like that sometimes. Wasn't it Maya Angelou who said, when a man tells you who he is, listen? And so rest in peace, Maya Angelou. And yeah, so when a man tells you that he's not able to give you a relationship, listen and take that at face value, because there's so many other things that can, you know what, and I'll say this, right? There's so many things where they say actions speak louder than words. I have found that when it comes to relationship, that you really have to listen to a man's words over his actions. I would say that that's the only situation in which that statement goes completely converse. So you really have to listen to his words above all else, because he could be doing all the right things, saying all the right things, and behaving in all the right manners, like someone who wants more, even so much as having intercourse and all of that other stuff with you. So yeah, so thank you so much for calling in, Christy. We really appreciate that. And so we have a few more people who have registered in the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Phone lines are open and we are here live. Telephone number is 323-999-5140. And tonight we're talking about being seen and seeing your partners, and just being and holding the space in a position where you are able to open yourself. And you know, Christy, I would say this. I would say to really take a look and see what that relationship was relaying to you, about you, and see, you know, where there's some areas where maybe there may have been a pattern which is re-showing itself or anything of that nature. So take a look at the underlying things that may be happening with that. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat room, and Christy is saying that she is trying to take a look at herself and figure out why it's bothering her so much. You don't know why it's bothering you? Okay, so you're saying that, okay, so you're typing inside the room, and so you feel rejected, and that's what the issue is. Since we don't have any other callers, do you want to call back in? And let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You want to call back in? All right, so Christy says that she's going to call back in. That's the best part about having a new show, that, you know, when the lines are open. So I feel really happy to be able to hold this position so that we can get to the root of the matter. But you know what? This is definitely not anything to be embarrassed about. I mean, this is life, you know, and it's love. And when we're real close to a situation, sometimes we can't see it.
You know, but the girl in the chat room, she hit it right on the head, though. I mean, when she said, does it feel a little like rejection? I went, what? Rejection? But, you know, it is. I feel like I was rejected. And the thing of it is that it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like we were dating. We were hanging out, you know?
Right.
We were just talking. We were just having fun. It wasn't, and then all of a sudden, that's the thing that threw me.
Okay. And so what do you think?
And I don't,
So what do you think is behind that feeling?
that's what I don't know. Because I don't know what happened, you know, except he told me exactly where he's at, but it's just weird how it went down, I guess. I don't know.
When was the last time you dated someone?
I've gone out on a few dates. Actually dating someone, probably 3 years. I mean, being with someone, 3 years.
And why has it been 3 years?
I've been doing a lot of work on myself and healing. I lost a lot of family, and I've been healing from that.
When you
and
say
the loss of the relationship.
When you say you lost a lot of family, what do you mean?
I mean, I have no one left in my family but my son.
So your parents, your siblings, your aunts, uncles,
Right.
Is this what you're saying?
Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone now.
How did they all pass away?
Well, everyone in my mother's family passed away from thoracic aneurysm. She had 3 siblings, and they're all gone. Their children are gone from one thing or another. My father was an only child, and that's it. That's all the family that I had.
Okay. And so so a part of you feels disconnected and lost, like a ship in the water with no port?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I have my friends, you know, but I really don't have family except for my son. So I guess kind of reconnecting with him because it was a good time in my life, and I was in college, and I don't know, we just had fun, and it hurt my feelings, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's it. It hurt my feelings.
Well, you know what? I don't know if you want my intuitive perspective.
Yes, of course I do. Give it to me, girl. Give it to me hard.
No, it's nothing hard. Oh, gracious. There's nothing hard. No. From my intuition, what I'm picking up on is I get the feeling that you are, even though you said that you don't feel like a ship in the middle of the water, my intuition is getting a feeling that you feel like you feel like you're adrift, and that this man represented an anchor to you, and that you while you were with this man, like like a boat in the middle of the water, and the boat can just float. I get the feeling that this man was a bit of stability, a bit of anchor to the past, and that when you were with this man that you felt safe, and that there is a part of you that felt like even if nothing else in life was normal, that things in this relationship seemed familiar and was normal to you, and that it was a bit of a blast from the past, so that even though there's all of this like tornado and all of this dust like flying everywhere, you anchored onto this, you found an anchor in this relationship, and suddenly there was one thing that made sense, and that reminded you of a time in your life where there was stability, where everything was all right and where everything was good, and that this man was a representation of that time. And so when you were with him, it gave you a little piece of the past, and it gave you a little piece of a part of you that you thought that you would never find again, and that you found in this relationship. And then when he left, it reminded you of the reality of where you are, the reality of your loss, the reality of nothing really making sense. And then now he's gone, and then that doesn't make sense, and then what happened in your family doesn't make sense, and now really you're spiraled back into where you were before you had gotten to this relationship. And it hurts even more now because you had like a glimpse of what it could be to feel normal and to feel even partially whole again, and to have that little bit and then have that ripped away hurt so much more than never of having had it at all, because you felt like you had dealt with the pain of all of the other loss, and then losing him made you realize or tumulted you back into being right there in the center of loss again. That's what I'm picking up on from my intuition.
You got me all teared up, and that's exactly right. You're exactly right. It's a loss. It's a loss.
Okay. And so what I'm picking up from my intuition to advise you in this situation is to take some time, because I'm getting the sense that what it was that you did to heal was not really the type of really digging in and unearthing that you needed to do to heal, that you kind of just patted something over and patted until you felt like you were cushioned enough to be able to go out there into the world. And so what I'm picking up on is that you really have to kind of take a step back, and that this situation came into your life as a reminder that you didn't do the work, and that there's still some pain there and there's some uncovered things. I'm getting the sense that there were some things that you never spoke to your father about that you needed to talk to him about before he passed away. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm getting the feeling that there's a conversation that you feel has been unhad with your father. And you really tried to cover over the fact that this conversation will never be had. And I'm here to tell you that there are ways that you can have that conversation. You know, there are meditations that you can do. I don't know what it was that you needed to say to your father before he left. What was it that you needed to say?
I needed to tell him that I forgave him.
Okay. All right. So
and I talk to him a lot.
yeah.
I mean, I have done a lot of spiritual growth, and I know that you're right in everything that you say, and I've done a lot of work on meditating and my chakras, and, you know, I've done a lot of work. I've read a lot. I've done a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm getting the feeling that even though you've done that, that you're not happy and satisfied with the fact that this conversation has not taken place. And so we have to get you to a place where you can have this conversation and really, really put yourself in that moment and then let it go and say goodbye and let your father go, knowing that he heard you and that he accepts it. When you did your spiritual work, did you feel like he accepted the forgiveness that you sent his way?
Yeah, I do. I feel like he's around me a lot.
And so, do you want him around? Do you need him here?
I think I want him around. He was very abusive.
And so I'm sorry, I'm getting the feeling inside that you need to let him go off into the other world. Can you tell me more about why you want him around?
I mean, I don't care that he's around. I think he's probably around out of guilt.
Okay.
But the forgiving is more for me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand that, but I feel like I feel like something needs to be done because he needs to go. I'm getting the feeling he needs to go, and that there's something that needs to be done so that he can leave. And I don't have the answer to that right now. Let me think for a moment. Let me dig inside for a second.
Are you thinking like a cleansing to my house or something?
No, I'm thinking more, it has something to do with water. Something to do with water. I'm getting a river in my...
I don't know, but I live on Fort Walton Beach.
Do you? Because I'm getting water, and what I'm getting is that you need to do some sort of ritual on the water, and you need to put his name on paper, either shredded or something, and then let it wash away. That's what I'm getting. I know it sounds silly, but this is what I'm getting from the inside. And sometimes I don't really want to say what it is that I'm getting from the inside, because sometimes it doesn't even make sense to me. But I'm getting that you need to put his name on paper, and I'm getting that the paper needs to be shredded, and that you need to forgive him and you need to let him understand that he is forgiven and there's nothing else that he needs to do here. And there's one more piece and one more component. I'm getting the feeling that you need to have a conversation with him and let him know what it was that you learned and benefited from as a result of the abuse. that there's something, that your life in some way right now is better, that you became the woman that you needed to become from overcoming from that and coming full circle, and that there's something about the strength that you possess right now that is a result of that abuse. And so that you need to be very detailed with him and let him know, look, I am a strong and capable woman. The abuse helped me to be
a great mother.
Okay. And that but there's something that you need to do to let him know that the abuse and that we all come into this life with things that we need to work on, and that we need to and let him know that this was your assignment in life, that you chose him as a father, and that he did not ruin your life, that he actually, choosing this assignment and overcoming that helped you become the woman that you are today. And write his name on a piece of paper. Did your father like water?
He's a Yankee. He's from the north, so not like me. I'm definitely a water person.
Okay, I don't know why I'm getting the sense of water that you need to let.
Because I live on the water. You probably hear it.
Michael, I can know who can hear the water over this traffic that we got back here. But I'm getting the sense that you got to write his name on a piece of paper, cut the paper up, and then let all of the pieces float away. And once that floats away, that you release him and you give him permission to go, that you're all right. You're all right. And just dealing with that, energetically we send vibrations out there, and that when there are things that are not dealt with, the universe brings it to us for us to deal with it. And so absolutely. So do that, okay?
I will. I'll give it a shot. It's crazy how this came around to my father, because in my mind I feel like I've made peace with, I didn't get to tell him that I forgave him, but I made peace with what happened in my life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it did. It made me a better mother, and the buck stopped with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. 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 Absolutely.
So I will take heed of everything that you said. I will definitely let go of my father at the beach. And I appreciate you telling me that.
Yeah, absolutely. Chin up, honey. Chin up. And you know that the man who's right for you is coming. So chin up. Okay?
Well, I wish you'd be here already, damn it.
Well, you know what? There's just a few more things that you need to do, and then energetically, you can draw your king forward. Okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
All right. I love you, Christy.
I love you too.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Advice Hour with Tanya, media's #1 big sister.